this. All right, let's take a deep breath. Unless you're driving, please close your eyes, put your feet flat on the floor unless you're lying down. Let's just drop in. Just take a moment to connect to you, to who you are underneath the noise, who you are underneath the labels, who you are underneath the fears and the patterning and the conditioning, just who you actually are. And just hold that. Like, oh my God, I don't spend much time here. And just breathe into that space, this who I am space. And imagine with every breath, it just gets a tiny, tiny bit bigger. It grows by 1%, 2%. It's not going to get too big. It won't get scary. Just hold that. This who I am space. This is where we're working from today. Beautiful. Let's rise up from there with the breath into our hearts. A space that's really close to the who I am space. And just stay there for a minute. Feel into it. What does your heart want from you? What would it love from you? What is it trying to tell you? Let's take one last breath together and just notice that we're not going up into the head space. That puppy gets to rest today. So let's take a breath, blow it out, rub our hands together. Again, unless you're driving, place them somewhere on your body that could use a little bit of love. All right, welcome to the call. This was an Uncivilized Nation call, but I wanted to open it up to everybody because I think this topic, I know this topic is so damn important. And it's so powerful more than it's important. And I think now more than ever, we need power. We need love, we need compassion, we need kindness, we need truth. And the through line of all of that is power. So for people who are new to me, my name is Traver. I'm the founder of the Uncivilized Nation, the Uncivilized Movement. And every year I name my year. And this year specifically, I've been thinking about this. This usually starts swirling around my brain in November. I'm like, what am I going to name my year? And I meditate on it. I think about it. I journal it. Sometimes it just hits and like, boom, that's what's happening. And sometimes it's a bit of a tussle. And so give yourself permission today. If it doesn't just land this like epiphany, that's okay too. And I'm going to just have everybody give my partner, Katie, a quick wave. We had a very interesting week. Say hi, Katie. Katie's in bed. I, in the eye of we, crashed an ATV with her on the back this week. And so we are very blessed to be here. You can't really see it now. It's cleared up, a little gash, and Katie has an injury to her foot, but it definitely reminded me of how important it is to be here, to be of service, to be of this work, and to be grateful to be alive and to be able to make these choices that we're about to. So this whole name your year thing started for me in 2016 or 2015 rather. I was in a shitstorm, the classic life, midlife, okay, everything's gone crisis. I was in the middle of a divorce. I was in the middle of a business divorce, So I had like 2 sets of lawyers. That's fun and not cheap, and needed some kind of guiding light. I didn't even know I needed it, but I needed it. And a coach of mine, Kimberly Weil, who I've introduced to many of you, she's here from Storytelling School. And I have no financial tie to her, but go to storytellingschool.com. Again, this woman has been a radical guiding light in my life. And she asked me in that year, do you want to speak at TED? And I said, I was again in the middle of a shitstorm. Like I'm not getting out of bed in the morning most days. I'm just trying to deal with myself and my reality. And I was like, no fucking way. I can't handle a stage in front of a bunch of people. And she called me back just a couple of weeks later because I wanted to do a talk on pain. And she said, TED LA will take you in 8 weeks. You can get on the stage there, you can talk, you can do your thing. But here's what they want. They want empirical data. So they don't just want like a philosophical TED talk. So what I need you to do is get 20, 25 people together and for 6 weeks, run them through like a protocol and take down actual numerical data of like, here's where they started, here's where they ended, and work that around pain. And to give you guys a little bit of insight, like a woman was going to get on that stage after collecting all of the trash that she used for 6 weeks, right? So it was going to be like stuff, not like, I think the world would be a better place if we had more hope. That makes sense. So I say not a chance. Like there's absolutely zero chance I can deal with 20 humans or 25 humans. I can barely deal with myself and my amazing dog at the time. So put that on the shelf. I then drive down to about this Against the Stream Meditation Center in LA to go to a meditation talk and go through the talk, meditate with them for an hour, come out of the talk, go to the bathroom, come out of the bathroom, and there's a cork board just outside the bathroom. Cork board that changed my life forever because on it was a sheet that said the Year to Live program. And I went, what is this? And I read a little bit about it. And it was from Stephen Levine's book, A Year to Live. And I went home and I Googled it and I read through the requirements. And it was like, you have to be in LA for a year. And every month you have to come to a meeting and you're going to talk about a preparation for death. Right? Just light, fluffy shit. But if you're like in the middle of a divorce and a business thing, I was like, death, sign me up. So I looked at it and thought, well, I don't really want to be in LA. I don't really want to be in LA for a year. I think I want to travel. And I sat with it and I sat with it and I read the book, A Year to Live. And then Kimberly called me back and she said, I need to know, like, I think you should get on TED LA stage, like make a decision, figure this out. And again, I was like, no fucking way. And I hung the phone up with her. And I thought about that book. I thought about the Year to Live program, and I got whatever we want to call it. A download, divine inspiration, blah, 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 however we want to say it. And I had a knowing right then and there that I wasn't going to stay in LA. I wasn't going to do their program, which was preparing people who were actually dying. I was going to do my own program. And it was going to be 12 months long. And I was going to call it the Year to Live Project. Now, this is before I knew jack shit about naming years. That's what came through. And I called Kimberly back and said, call TED LA, tell them I'll be back in 12 months. I'm going to do a year-long social experiment on myself. Here's what it is. And I hung the phone up with her again and just got the same damn chills I just got with you. Again, before I even knew about naming your year. Now, let's think about this for a second. Essentially, I did name my year. And I did bring on a project. And I'm not asking you to do a year-long project, right? I was very fortunate in that I was getting paid for a year from the business I was leaving. And unfortunate that every other part of my life had opened up. I didn't have kids, didn't have a wife anymore, didn't have yada, yada. So I could go do this. But I'm telling you this because here's the juice of it. The Year to Live project gave me permission. Hear this, gave me permission for 12 months to live differently than I ever had before. You guys catch that? Nothing came from the outside, unless we want to call the download. Like no one showed up at my door and was like, hi, here's your new name badge. says Traver, boom, year to living. Like here's a guidebook, here's a workbook, here's a hat, here's some stuff. None of that. I just set a frame for the year. A year that changed my life forever. Now, here's why I want to use the word permission. And here's what I want to set this frame up against. Permission was I could look through a lens for an entire 12 months. So when Kimberly called me again 5 months later and said, hey, TEDx Santa Barbara has an opening. Do you want to get on that stage and actually talk about pain? I had to look through the lens. Whew, just got chills again. Of if this were my last year to live, which is the frame that I've set up. If I'm going to be honest about the Year to Live project, then I have to get on that stage. If I don't get on that stage, I'm full of shit. And so I did. Because of that frame, like literally I remember staring at the phone and being like, I don't want to do this. I do not, like, there's a voice in my head was like, do not do this. Please don't do this. Don't get on a stage. Don't rehearse for 3 months. Don't do all the things. Like, let's just ride easy. And there was another voice that was like, hey, remember what the year's called, right? So just to give you one example, the second example of how this frame worked, I was early on doing the Year to Live project and went to a men's retreat. And a guy there said like, hey, what are you doing here? Why are you, what's going on with you? And I was like, hey, I'm doing this thing called the Year to Live project. This is my frame. And he goes, well, if you really want to know what death is without dying, I suggest you lock yourself in a pitch black room for a while. There's this thing called the dark retreat. And if any of you know my story, that was the most pivotal experience of my life that happened to me voluntarily. Would not have existed, would not have come into fruition, would not have entered my sphere if I had named my year, I don't know, like the year of rainbows and kittens, right? Or something else. So again, these offshoots that if I someday go back and look at the trajectory of my life, that simple name changed everything. Okay. I hope I've sold you on this. I know you showed up, so you were probably already sold. But what are we going up against? Like, what's the alternative to this? And I'm going to brand it. Like, what do civilized people do right around now? They start setting New Year's goals. I used to do it, right? Guilty as hell. I used to do it. Do you guys know what January like 17th, 19th is? It's not a trick question. It's when most people give up on their New Year's goals. Statistically, like I'm not making that shit up. That's when gym memberships go from like, capacity to 15%. It's when sobriety goes from like, we're not drinking to like, well, kind of feel hungover this morning. Right? I remember doing this. You guys will love this. This was like 2014. I decided to not say the word fuck for an entire, that was my New Year's goal. And January 3rd, that goal went right out the fucking window. I think I stepped on a light socket, a light switch, like the thing that goes in the light. Yeah, it was like, fuck. Okay, then I was done. So we get this, right? That's what that's what we're up against. That's the alternative. And I'm telling you this because June, September, October, November, you still want to have this frame. You still want to have this thing that's like, it's not just a set of goals which lives here. Remember on the meditation, I said, we're going to leave this out of it. I can write goals from here. I can set a frame from here. I can figure out, you can't see my tummy, but like the lens of who I am, that's from here. This lasts until January 15th. This will last a lot longer. This will change your life forever. Deal? Everybody get what we're doing and why we're doing it? So hold this. So after the Year to Live project, I hired Kimberly and got in one of her groups, and she made us specifically do this. And every year since, she's had us do this. So I want to make sure I'm giving full credit that even though I named the Year to Live project, to have this as a protocol is hers. So please find her and say thank you if you can. Okay, let's dive into this. let's set the actual frame and let's take a moment here. And I'm going to throw some words out to you, which I want you to think about. Lens, as if we were looking through sunglasses. Nourishment, as if someone did a blood panel on you and was like, oh, you don't have enough vitamin D. You would take that as nourishment. Expansion, big word, would be most expansive for you. Connection, which my brother Robert Wunderlich isn't on this call, but that's a big thing for him. How do you want to connect what most likely is some disparate parts of your life, separate parts of your life? Possibility, right? These aren't just big fancy coaching words. These to me are things that I obsess about and want you to. Safety. Consciousness. And then here's the last one. And I don't think I've said it already, but sometimes I forget what I say, so I might have said it already. Full fucking expression. I get that's 3 words, but you can put it into one. Full fucking expression. To be fully expressed is just the juice. It's why we're here. Hang out with some 2-year-olds. Like, they give this many fucks about what you think about them. That's what we're trying to get back to. Thanks, Ryan, for writing those. Okay. And I'm telling you this because I want these to wash through you. I want these words to pull you out of here, which is, I want to get 10.2% richer. Right? I want this relationship with these qualities and this, and this. Be that tall. Blah, blah, blah. And get to, what do you need here? What does your soul need? What does your heart need so that you feel safe? You feel connected. You tap into consciousness. You engage with life, this thing, this reason that we're fucking here. And you fully express yourself unapologetically in ways you haven't before. Okay, that's the pitch. If that sounds good, stay on the call. Next piece, we need to know where you are. So for the next 2 minutes, and 2 minutes only, I want you to separate from yourself, from your body, from your life, and look down on a snapshot of it. If you guys did like screen capture of your life, what is it, like Control Command 4 or something on a Mac? Boop. And then take a step back and look at your life. We're going to, for 2 minutes, what are you allowing yourself? How are you allowing yourself to be expressed? How are you not? If you did that blood panel, what nourishment do you need? One of the things Katie and I have realized down here is just how incredible community is and just how much we miss it. Like real life, like eating dinner, having people sitting on the floor, hanging out. Like, man, when I take a snapshot of my life in Colorado, like I lived in the woods on purpose, but man, that was missing. I know that now. But also here's the deal, folks. This is a judgment-free call. You're not allowed to go, I need community because I'm a bad person. You don't get to do that shit. You can wait till somebody else's call. Judgment-free call. So take a step back and be a scientist for 2 minutes, all right? I'm going to put on some science music. I just want you to write. This is where I'm allowing myself to be fully expressed. This is the nourishment I think I could use. This is what I would love to experience. All right, go.
Few friends now and again, I can never hope to keep them. Thought to give friends what I thought that they wanted, never had they needed a good friend as I've been. Don't get me venting on friends who resent you, cause all you've ever done is been a noose to hang on to. They thought was a necklace and reckless, they fell into hell where you both hang with nothing to do but scratch, kick, like gravity went like fall, this, like gravity went like. You could leave it all behind, even the devil need time alone sometimes. You could let it all
Just where you are, just where you're at.
You can let it all go, it's called free fall.
Thank you, Chris.
Free fall. Called to the devil and the devil said quit. Can't be bothered, better handle y'all shit. Keep about your wits, man, keep about your wits. Know yourself and who you came in with. Can I sit down? I've been hustling all day.
Thank you, is that
I
better?
can't even count how many souls I made. Off the same deal you wrong. Remember, the devil ain't a friend to no one. But find true when you can let it all go. You can let it all go. It's called free fall. It's called free fall. Called to the devil and the devil say, hey, why you been calling this late? It's like 2 a.m. and the bars all closed. He dead in hell, it's a rule I made. Anyway, you say you're too busy saving everybody else to save yourself, and you don't want no help. Oh well, that's a story to tell. Like you can let it all go. You can let it all go. It's called free fall. It's called free fall. You can let it all go. You can let it all go. Cause ain't shit free but falling out. That shit's easy. Let me show
Okay,
you
gang,
how
come on
it's
back.
like.
That song, just to give you 2 minutes of background or 30 seconds, is from Melanie Bachman's playlist. If you remember Melanie, I interviewed her. She got diagnosed with breast cancer at like 32. So all of her music speaks to me. I love her. Okay. So now we have a snapshot, right? Does this sound better too? Thanks for the correction. It sounded like it might have been snapping on some of you. Part 2, the diagnosis. Let's be like little doctors for ourselves. I don't want you to think about these things though. We're going to diagnose what we need. We're going to leave money out of it. We're going to leave body composition changes out of it. We're going to lead all the things that our ego so often goes for. And instead, we're going to work with feelings. I know there's like primarily dudes on this call, and we're talking about fucking feelings. Yep. Because it's real easy to say, I want to make $10,000 more next year. But it's a lot more powerful to say, I want to feel financially secure so that when I wake up in the morning, I can do what I'm really here to do. So diagnose here. Here are some questions that may help you. What do you need more of? Feeling wise, emotion wise, sense wise. What do you need less of? What nourishment do you require at this moment? What would you love to be able to say this time next year? That's a biggie. When I did the Year to Live project, I wanted to be able to, on December 31st of 2016, to be able to take a giant deep breath right before midnight and say, if this were my last breath, my life would be whole. I would have no apologies I needed to say. I had no more, I know missing I love yous, etc. What would you love to be able to say about your life this time next year? Does that land, Kelly? What do you need more of? What do you love? What would you love to call in? And again, let's try to work around the tangibles of like, I'd love a Corvette. But there's nothing wrong with the Corvette. It's like a little douchey, but whatever. You guys get it. All right. Spend 3 or 4 minutes on that. I'm going to throw some more music up here. right from your heart, right from your stomach. Leave your head out of this. What nourishment do you require, Kelly? What do you need to let go of? It's the first one. Have fun with this, you guys. Play with this. Smile, laugh. I think the self-development world and the men's world, even, we take ourselves too damn seriously. Thank you, DJ Wenig. This one, Andrew, or the last one? This one is called Navar. The last one was called Free Fall. "60 more seconds." Like, if you were to look at your life from the outside, be brutally honest, what do you need? What do you want? What would you love? And I'm just going to add, because so often we're hard on ourselves with this one, what if that lens was compassionate? What if, like, the 5 funnest, most incredible people you know got to name your year for you? It was like the year of stupid, insane belly laughs. Like that kind of shit. 60 more seconds. Okay, more laughter. Josh, I love your dog. The year of face kisses. I love watching you just try to, like, work through these exercises, getting your face licked. This is amazing. All right, Ken, let's dive back in. Okay, maybe I can leave that up. Okay, the next piece of this. Take a look at that. Take a look at that list of things that you need, things that you want, things that you'd love, and then see if you can establish a through line. I know that may be challenging if you're not a writer or you're not a storyteller, but look, what's the common theme here? It's like, I want to have more people over for dinner. I'd love to go to events. I'd love to hang out with folks. I'd love to join a group. Like, oh, you need people. If you're like, man, I want to go on a solitary retreat and I need more time hiking alone in the woods and I want to spend a month in a dark room. Okay, you may need some alone time, or to like honor the inner introvert. Look for the through line here. Just spend 2 more minutes doing that. If you're open to it, also throw it in the chat. Some sexy music for you. I think this is science-y, Wenig. Thanks, Ryan. Beautiful community, creative expression, clearing the clutter. I love this. Life in its fullness, more raw, about addictions, intrusive thoughts. Beautiful, Anthony. Love it. People, experiences, building, empathy, love, connection in all forms. Beautiful, man. Presence, intentional acceptance and beginning. Good. Keep these coming, folks. Share, realize, read these and realize, wow, I'm not alone. I haven't seen a single Corvette here. This is good. Spend time sitting with my resistance. Ooh. Juicy one. Self-compassion and grace. Action, good. Connection, community, touch, love, family, resolution, good. Going deeper, healing. Coming back to myself, good. Just scream me to the world. Amazing. Fucking love that one. Release the artificial values, less fear, more confidence. Good. Opening to connection, sensitivity, movement, creative. Good. Great, Margot. Letting go of expectations. Good. Radiant body, vibrant. These are so good, you guys. Good folks. Amazing. Adventure. Woo. I'm in Costa Rica right now, Andrew. It's been an adventure. Intimacy, integrity, intention, thrive. I love it. Punching evil in the throat. It just twitched. Solid in nature, hugs, laughter, intimacy, presence, in the moment. Good. Love fearlessly. Beautiful. Woo. So good. Being patient. All right. I'm just going to turn this down. Good. Good, you guys. This is real. This is real work. Expansion. I love it. Love it. Love it. Okay. Just hold those words for a second. Hold them as if they were real. Like visualize this life right now that's real. Ooh, I just got chills again. Just visualize it, like experience it right now in your body. What if you lived that way? I want to take a moment, and after you do that, after you can feel it, like somatically, you can feel it rushing through your veins. It's real. It's actually real. What excites the hell out of you about that? Write that down. What excites you about that feeling? Like, oh my God, can you imagine? Like, imagine telling this to a 3-year-old, like, bro, like little bro, here's what I did with my life last year. I was super connected. I felt all of the love from people. I'd wake up in the morning and I'd be overflowing with joy. I'd pop out of bed, boom. finished this book. I went on this adventure. I met all these crazy people. I left my comfort. Like, what excites you about that? Write that down. Go. Only a minute. Feel it. Who will I become when this is true? Big question. Who will I become? Got something for that? Okay, good. That's the fun part. That's the part that's usually easy for us. Like, oh my God, I can see myself standing on that TED stage, hearing the claps, seeing the standing ovation. That's the stuff that, like, yeah, I can see it. I can see it. I can see it. I can feel it. Now, here's the juice, though. What scares the shit out of you about that? Be honest. What scares me about who I will become with this in my life is, that's a question, something we got to deal with. We need to be honest about. Wow, if I get this connection, what happens if I lose it? Right? What if I'm seeking all this freedom and I get it and I get it, and then I don't want to come back to living in Connecticut? No offense, Bob, I'm from Connecticut, and not be able to travel. Right? Come back up through all of these. What if I open to connection and I get hurt? What if I heal my past and I'm still in pain? What if I take all that action without procrastination? What will that lead to? We got to look at this from a couple different angles. Yeah, throw this in the chat if you would. Thanks, Tom. The falling away of things or people that no longer serve me. That's still hard. Might have to distance from comforts to get a level of greatness I desire for my life. Amazing, Margot. You may have to embrace new comforts. I have a buddy who's like, one of the hardest roads I had to walk down was a new relationship with luxury. He was brought up in a very Spartan family and then made millions and was like, I don't know what to do. I have nice shit. It's real. Like, these kind of questions are real. You might experience heartbreak. Ryan, you will take arrows. You'll have to feel your pain. Ooh, getting the things I want and then getting them ripped out of my hands. Yep. Part of me afraid of both judgment and the failure. Yep. I'm scared that I'll be fully seen and loved and not know how to handle it after hiding for so long. Anybody relate to that one? Oof. Yep. Facing my demons. Beautiful. This is the stuff that isn't talked about on Instagram. There will be a death of your current identity, and that is not an easy thing to grapple with. Right? It rewrites everything I've ever known. It rewrites me. Yeah. Yep. Taking on responsibility that I can't handle. Ian, I feel you on that one, man. I'll have to interact with people more, tell people no. Yep. Good, you guys. This is really important. Getting in touch with all the strength I have. Yep. Continued judgment. Yep. Not being enough. You're not being good enough. failing. All right, you guys, wherever you are in this process, wherever you are in this writing process, write down these 3 words. Accept, ACC, accept, allow, surrender. Accept, allow, surrender. Ryan, if you wouldn't mind popping those in. Thank you. Yep, this can be emotional. I get it. Take a look back up through that list and then ask yourself, how much control do you have over any of that shit anyway? Wednesday morning, I left a beach with salt water on my skin, my woman on the back, laughing and joking. 15 minutes later, was lying in the side of the road bleeding. We're not in control of shit. And for so many of us, oftentimes myself included, the devil we know, right? The pain we know, would rather that than actually believing that if we engage with life in a different way, that the us, the me, the you that gets to be in reaction to the reaction will be different than the you that's standing here or sitting here. Does that make sense? I specifically remember telling someone when I found out I was getting divorced, the me sitting here cannot survive this. I will not survive this. And God bless him for saying, good, then you get to grow into somebody who will. Maybe that's harsh. I don't know. But I'll tell you what, I am not the same man I was that day. I was not the same man 48 hours later when I decided to quit drinking, quit smoking dope, quit looking at porn, start meditating, start writing, being public, and grow into that person. But yet that requires a death of identity. All right, I don't want to dive too far down that rabbit hole, but compassion, folks, forgiveness, allowance, acceptance, surrender, all the things that are so easy to put on other people. We need to turn that lens now and put it on ourselves as we continue. Grace, great word. Now, here's the $1 million question. What would be true for you? What can come true for you if you fully dropped into this lens? What could come true for you? What could come true? I remember the first time someone told me, you know, there's going to be a movie made about your Year to Live project someday. I went, wow, I couldn't even, that was not even in a country mile, what I was thinking about. But it was beautiful to have the ceiling raised on possibility. So what could come true for you? What would be true for you if you adopted this? Think about that for 2 minutes. I'm going to throw on some more music. This is Future Primitive, by the way. I interviewed him too. Amazing dude. Anthony, these questions are in my head and on my notebook. I'll find a way to get them out to everybody or to make them public. But I grew up in the 80s. This is how I work. Yeah, the call's recorded. We'll make it public. What would be true? What could be true? It's such a great song, Nate. Holy shit. And Clark, yes, I will. This song is the reason I interviewed Future Criminal. I heard it and was like, I have to talk to this guy. Play with the possibility here. Have some fun with this. See if what comes up scares you or inspires you. Okay. Everybody good? Great tune. All right, gang, take a minute right now and just look through everything. Go back to the beginning real quick. The snapshot, where you are, the diagnosis, what you need, the nourishment. Keep that word in mind, nourishment. I love that word. Like nourishment for your soul. Take a look at the through line. What is it? What excites you about this? Scares you about it? What could be true? What would be true? This next section, we're going to name it. And you may not be ready for that right now. And that's okay. They said, like, I chew on these sometimes for a while. And some of them said in an instant, some of them take circumstance, but you'll know. Like I got chills every year but last year. Last year, I don't think I did a good job naming it, but every other year I got chills and I was like, okay, that's my deal. To give you some insight into some other names, my coach, Kimberly, who I've mentioned, she, I think 2 years ago, said it was the year of messy because she would record like 5, 6, 7 hours of video and then go back through and delete each one because like her hair wasn't behind her ear, it was in front of it, or like the lighting could have been better. And so she just named her year, the year of messy. And I remember her saying for an entire year, imagine anybody in our space doing this, she would only do one take and first take videos. So she would be like, storytelling, fuck, okay, I got to keep going, storytelling, and she'd post that. And that was like the deal she made with herself for the year. But she gave herself permission to be imperfect. Pretty good, huh? When I was looking for a home, I was bouncing all over the globe every 2 weeks and living everywhere. I named it the year of the kingdom uncivilized. It was a couple of years ago, so I was still in it, right? Like I needed somewhere to call home, but I didn't want to say like the year of home. Just didn't find it that inspiring. 2 years ago, when the movement, when the uncivilized was just ramping up, was the year the levee breaks. Why? It was my favorite Led Zeppelin song. I heard it when I was thinking about this, and it felt like, man, that's exactly what I want to do with this idea. I want it to spread everywhere. It's a brilliant song. And so Clark, sorry, thank you for chiming in. Your question of would I talk more about the lens? So when you're thinking about the name, folks, when I did the Year to Live project, the lens was, would I do this if this were my last year alive? That was the filter through which I got to process, should I yes or no questions? Do I want to do this? Do I not want to do this? Make sense, Clark? For the levee breaks, that year, that was the lens, was like all about getting the movement out. A 30-second story. I got asked to come teach at Sacred Sons with them. And I was like, nah, you guys are a little different than how I operate, but you know what? This is the year of the levee breaks, and I have no issue with them. It just, we were kind of in different, I was more primal, they were more divine. Like, it's the year of levee breaks. Yep. I'd be happy to get on a plane, fly to California, and come teach with you guys. I walk in the door at Sacred Sons, and there's this gentleman reading my book. And I was like, oh, hi, I'm Traver. He goes, hi, I'm Michael Gay. Nice to meet you. I'm reading your book. And I was like, cool. Are you a participant here? And he was like, no, I'm the best there. He didn't say this, but in hindsight, and I was like, I'm the best fucking therapist in the world. You and I are going to partner on workshops. I'm going to change your life forever. Right? It was the permission. If I hadn't had that lens, I would not have gotten on a plane, got paid nothing, taught for 2 days, flew home, lived in a room, like we slept with 40 dudes in the same room. Does that make sense? So it was like lens, also unintended consequence. So let's get to the naming. I love to name shit because I was a blogger for 6 years. So I love to put fun titles on things that are interesting to me. The year of the levee breaks, the year of the kingdom uncivilized. 2 years ago, the year of the heart space uprising. Like, it's different to me than the year of compassion, the year of truth, the year of love, right? So when you're thinking about a title, I want you to feel it. I know this is so hard to articulate, especially through Zoom, but I want you to feel it. That when you see it, you hear it, you say it, there's like a response in your body. It's also intriguing. It's intriguing to you. When I told people this is the year of the heart space uprising for me, very few people were like, that makes sense. Don't tell me more. A lot of people were like, what the fuck does that mean? I was like, well, I got to finally deal with this whole thing, part of my body. As a dude, I've been living from here up and my waist down for 40 years. So this is the year I figure out relationship, love, all of that. So here are the 3 pieces I want you to keep in mind. And I'm not going to give you any more guidance on naming it than this. Be playful. Be creative. I'm going to actually give you 4. Be careful. Because you may just get what you wish for. Can I say that? My partner, Katie, named her year the year of shedding old skin, and has almost completely removed herself from her family, from her old friends, from her old life. And that's kind of like getting thrown down a flight of stairs on acid. So just know that these things have power, right? The year of the levee breaks. My life changed drastically. The nation started. I went from having a little fun Facebook group with 20 guys in it to having 200 men and having to organize teams and having to do all kinds of shit like that, which I'm super grateful for. And yet you can't just throw this out there and be like, okay. Right? The Year to Live project. Holy fuck. Did that call in some change? And the last piece, the 4th, let it be felt, sensed. Like, feel this in your body, not in your heads. It should give you a fucking hard on, guys. And the female equivalent. No more polite way to say it than that. Like, this should light you up. Hell yeah. Leela, you get it. Like, let it actually move you. Make it a movie title. Make it the most interesting article you want to read. Make sense? Questions? If you have like a live question, you can just unmute yourself. I'm not going to ask you to post them here. I'm going to ask you to sit with it for the rest of the day. Even if you have one, just sit with it. Like, really sit with it. feel into it. Is it what I want to call in? Is it what I want to let go of? If it came true, would I be willing to pay that, whatever the entry fee is? Thank you, Kelly. Am I okay going on this journey? Am I going to allow myself to grow into the man or woman or whomever that has this in their life? I hope so. Because full expression, I don't know about you guys, but man, the more my life gets fully expressed, just the better it is on every level. The less I want to drink, the less I want to get high, the less I want to isolate, the more I want to be of service, the more I want to share myself with other people. The more people who are fully expressed I attract into my life. And I want the same for you. It is a beautiful way to live, especially at a time when contraction feels like what's being pushed into the collective. And we get to rebel as uncivilized humans by expanding in the face of that contraction. Questions? We'll wait a minute or so to let people pop in. So the next half hour, if you have questions, have at it. We'll do them as they come. This was an open call, but also I'm going to stick around for the next half hour and talk about the Uncivilized Nation, which there's a number of guys, most of the guys on this call are part of, which is a kick-ass men's group where we get to do work like this as men together, which isn't really happening that many places I know of in the world. I know a bunch of guys getting together this week and like, hey, let's name our year about full expression, consciousness in our hearts. There's probably a lot of fantasy football this weekend. So I don't have anything against. Okay, I do. It's a fucking waste of time. It's not expansive. Ryan, would you throw a link in there if you would? We're opening the nation. We're not doing official registration for another week or so, but anybody on this call, any of you guys, if you're not in it, just get in it. Like, that's all I got to say. I can throw testimonials at you. I can pitch it and do the fancy, like, this will only last this time. But look at the results the men are getting who are in it. I got a message from Dave Boyd, who is my second in command here and the president of the company. And I asked him how he was doing the other day. And this was his response. Remember when you told me a couple of years ago I wouldn't recognize my life in a year or two? I'm 1,000% there right now. And I cried like a baby because that is what we're really after here, isn't it? I don't want any of you guys, male, female, however, recognizing your life 12 months from now. I want it so much more open, included, connected, expansive, rich, joyful, all the things. All right. That's what I got for you. Ladies, actually, Leela, pop your group in there too, if you wouldn't mind. So Leela Dilla, who's on this call, has a sister organization to us called the Heart Space. She does very similar work. We do crossover work. So if any of you ladies on this call are not in there, get your asses in there. Leela's probably got a far more lovely, eloquent pitch than I do for her, but she's a fucking baller and you want to hang out with her. Go. All right. Let's actually stop recording. And men, let's just stay on here. And it's an open Q&A about the nation, about any part of men's work, about anything. I'm going to hang out for another half hour for you guys.